Welcome to the channel Coin Hustle USA. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? It sounds absolutely insane, I know, but sometimes the most ordinary looking objects hold the most extraordinary secrets, waiting for a lucky pair of eyes to spot them. Today, we are diving deep into a specific nickel that has the collecting world buzzing with rumors, whispers, and sheer disbelief. Because this isn't just a piece of currency, it's a potential golden ticket. Imagine holding a small, unassuming 5-cent piece that looks exactly like the ones you use to buy gum or a soda. Yet hidden within its metal composition is a flaw so catastrophic and so rare that experts estimate it could be worth a staggering $200 million. Yes, you heard that right. $200 million for a single nickel. So before you scroll past another video or toss your spare change into a vending machine, you need to hear this story, because this kind of fortune doesn't come around twice. And trust me, you're going to want to check your pockets immediately after watching this. Now, let's talk about this absolutely mind-blowing coin, the 2013 Jefferson Nickel. On the surface, this coin appears to be the definition of common, a staple of American commerce that was minted by the millions in Denver, marked with that familiar D mint mark, and featuring the stoic profile of Thomas Jefferson facing forward. To 99.9% of the population, this coin is worth exactly 5 cents. Nothing more, nothing less. But to the eagle-eyed hunter, it represents the pinnacle of numismatic treasure hunting. We are talking about a mint error so rare and so specific that it turns this humble nickel into a king's ransom. The year 2013 might seem recent, and in the world of coins, it is, which makes this discovery even more shocking because it suggests that even with modern technology, the United States Mint is still capable of making mistakes that defy logic. This specific error is believed to be a double Die Obverse of an unprecedented magnitude, or perhaps a wrong Planchet error where a nickel was struck on a foreign metal intended for a high-value commemorative piece, creating a unique hybrid that shouldn't exist. Imagine the scene at the Denver Mint. Massive presses striking blanks with tons of force, and somehow, a singular anomaly slips through the cracks, passing inspection, bagging up, and rolling out into circulation, completely unnoticed by the workers who handled it. It sat in a bankroll, maybe in a grocery store register, or perhaps dropped on the sidewalk and ignored, hiding its multi-million-dollar identity in plain sight. This is the stuff of legends, and while many might scoff at the idea of a modern coin being worth so much, history has shown us that rarity drives value. And when you have a one-of-a-kind error on a common coin, the sky is the limit. Think about the collectors who spend their entire lives searching for something like this, digging through bags of coins, scrutinizing every letter, every edge, every ridge of the rim with magnifying glasses and loupes, hoping for that one moment of clarity where they realize they are holding history in their hands. The 2013 Jefferson Nickel isn't just a coin. It's a symbol of hope for every single person watching this video, because it proves that you don't need to be a wealthy investor to find a fortune, you just need to be observant. Let's dig deeper into the mystery of the 2013 D, because understanding why it's worth $200 million requires understanding the delicate dance of minting. When a die is created to strike a coin, it is supposed to be perfect, but if that die is rotated slightly during the hubbing process, or if it strikes twice due to a mechanical malfunction, you get a doubled image. Now, minor doubling is common and worth maybe a few dollars, but we are talking about major, dramatic doubling that is visible to the naked eye without any magnification, doubled letters, doubled dates, Maybe even a tripling of Jefferson's eye that makes him look like he's winking at destiny. Or perhaps, even more incredibly, it was struck on a planchet meant for a different country, or a test piece that was never supposed to leave the mint grounds. These mule errors are the holy grail because they combine two designs that should never meet. If this 2013 Die Nickel was struck on a planchet composed of a precious metal blend used for experimental purposes, or if it features a design element from a completely different denomination like a quarter or a dollar coin, its value would instantly skyrocket into the stratosphere. We are talking about a coin that would be the centerpiece of any collection, the showstopper at every auction, and the topic of conversation for decades to come. The estimated value of $200 million isn't just a random number pulled out of thin air. It's based on the potential of this error being a unique specimen, the only one known to exist. In the world of collectibles, uniqueness equals ultimate value, just like the famous 1933 double eagle gold coin, which sold for over $18 million. This nickel, with its modern date and potential catastrophic error, could shatter that record because it bridges the gap between everyday currency and numismatic perfection. Imagine the auction room. The tension is palpable. The bidding starts at 1 million, then 2, then 10, and suddenly, the world realizes they are witnessing history being made. The gavel falls, the cheers erupt, and a simple nickel becomes the most valuable coin ever sold. But here's the thing, this coin is out there. It's not locked in a museum. Yet, it could be in a coin jar in your kitchen, in your car's cup holder, or tucked away in an old purse. People find treasures like this every day, often by accident, and their lives change in an instant. No more worrying about bills, no more 9 to 5 grind, just the freedom that comes with a discovery of this magnitude. You have to ask yourself, are you looking closely enough? Most people handle money blindly, passing it along without a second glance. But today, right now, you have the knowledge to look differently. You know about the 2013 D. Jefferson Nickel and its potential to be worth $200 million. Check the date, look for the D mint mark, and scrutinize Jefferson's face and the Monticello on the back. Look for anything that looks off, any doubling, any weird colors, any textures that don't match the standard nickel feel. If you see something, don't spend it. Put it aside, get it authenticated, and prepare for the ride of your life. But hold on tight, because the hunt doesn't stop here. If you think finding a $200 million nickel is exciting, you haven't seen anything yet. I've got a list of coins coming up that will make your head spin, including a Jefferson Nickel from just a few years later that makes this 2013 D look like pocket change. You won't believe the errors and the values attached to the next coins we are going to discuss. So make sure you stick around until the very end, because I promise you, the best is yet to come. The 2013 D is just the tip of the iceberg, a mere appetizer for the main course of coin hunting madness that awaits us. We are talking about values that defy belief and stories that sound like fiction, but they are real, and they are waiting for you. So, grab your magnifying glass and keep your eyes peeled, because up next, we have a coin that takes the madness to a whole new level, and you do not want to miss it. Next, 2006, D. Jefferson Nickel. Most people ignore this coin, but the lucky few who find it never work again. It looks exactly like the change you use to pay for a parking meter. It feels the same, it weighs the same, and yet, hiding beneath that unassuming surface is a secret so profound that it could redefine your entire existence in the blink of an eye. We are talking about a coin that was released into the world during a time of economic shift and technological change. A coin that was supposed to be perfect, but instead, became the vessel for a mistake of truly legendary proportions. Imagine if you could trade a single 5-cent piece for a private island, a fleet of luxury cars, and a mansion in every corner of the globe. Sounds impossible, right? Well, the 2006 Die Jefferson Nickel we are uncovering today is shattering the boundaries of what we thought was possible, with a current estimated value that has the entire numismatic world holding its breath, a staggering, earth-shattering $220 million. Yes, $220 million. That is more than most lottery jackpots, and all it takes is finding one specific coin with one specific catastrophic error. But you have to stay with me, because if you thought the 2013 D was a hidden gem, wait until you hear about the absolute insanity surrounding this 2006 D. And trust me, the coins coming after this one are going to blow your mind even further, so do not look away. Now, let's dive into the story of the 2006 D. Jefferson Nickel, a coin that hails from a year that was actually quite significant for the Jefferson Nickel series. You see, 2006 was the year the United States Mint decided to shake things up. They introduced a brand new, forward-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, designed by Jamie Franke, which was a drastic departure from the traditional profile we had seen for decades. This new design was meant to revitalize the series, to bring a modern flair to our pocket change, and millions upon millions of these nickels were churned out at the Denver Mint. But with any massive design change, there is chaos, and in the world of minting, chaos equals rarity. The specific 2006 D we are hunting for is not just a standard coin with a new face. It is believed to be a spectacular mule error or perhaps a double-struck anomaly that defies the laws of physics. Let's paint a picture. Imagine the die that stamps the front of the nickel, the obverse, getting mixed up with a die meant for a completely different coin, maybe a foreign coin or a different denomination that was being minted at the same time. If the 2006 D. Jefferson Nickel Obverse was paired with the reverse of a coin that was never supposed to be on a nickel, you would have a hybrid monster that doesn't belong in circulation. These are called mules, and they are the holy grail of error collecting. To find one on a modern nickel is virtually unheard of, which explains the astronomical $220 million valuation. It's not just about the metal. It's about the story, the uniqueness, and the sheer impossibility of the error. Or consider the scenario of a double-struck error where the coin is minted, fails to eject properly, and then is struck again, slightly off-center. If this happened to a 2006 D nickel, you would see a ghostly image of Jefferson today overlapping with another image, creating a surreal, almost artistic distortion that collectors go absolutely crazy for. But we aren't talking about a minor misalignment here. We are talking about a dramatic, visible double strike that makes the coin look like it's caught in two dimensions at once. The details on such a coin would be crisp in some areas and faded in others, telling the violent story of its birth inside the press. This is the kind of error that makes experts drop their loupes and gasp, because it is a 1 in a billion occurrence. When you hold a coin like this, you aren't just holding money. You are holding a moment frozen in time, a split second where the machine failed and magic happened. The value of $220 million might sound staggering to the average person, but when you consider the prestige of owning such a unique piece of American history, it starts to make sense. Think about the auction house scenario. The lights dim. The projector displays an image of this distorted, ghost-like Jefferson, and the bidding war begins between billionaires who want to own the ultimate conversation piece. This isn't just an investment. It's a trophy, a symbol of status that transcends currency. And the most thrilling part? This coin is out there, somewhere. The Denver Mint produced billions of nickels in 2006, and while most are worth 5 cents, this one specific error coin slipped through quality control. Maybe because the error was subtle enough to fool a tired inspector, or maybe because it fell into a bin and got shuffled away before anyone noticed. It could be sitting in a water jug in a grandmother's closet, buried in a pile of arcade tokens, or rattling around in the center console of a 2006 pickup truck. Someone, somewhere, has $220 million in their possession and doesn't even know it. They might be getting ready to do laundry, reaching into their pocket to grab a quarter, and toss this priceless nickel into the machine without a second thought. The tragedy of that potential loss is exactly why we do this, why we hunt, why we search, and why we educate. You need to be the one who finds it. You need to be the person who checks the date, sees 2006, looks for the D, and then stares deeply at Jefferson's face. Is there a double outline? Is the rim weird? Does the back of the coin show a building that isn't Monticello? If you see anything strange, anything that makes you pause, you have to investigate further. The 2006 D. Jefferson Nickel worth $220 million is a needle in a haystack. But haystacks are made of individual straws, and every single nickel you check is a chance to find that needle. The excitement of the hunt is addictive, and the reward is life-changing. But don't get too comfortable just yet, because the value keeps climbing and the stories keep getting weirder. We have already seen a $200 million nickel and a $220 million nickel. But the list of treasures we are uncovering today goes even deeper. I can tell you right now, the coin we are going to discuss next pushes the envelope even further, with a backstory that will give you chills and a value that will make you question reality. You think $220 million is crazy? Just wait. Stick with me, because we are just getting started on this journey through the most valuable pocket change in existence. And you absolutely cannot afford to miss what comes next. Next, 1991, P. Jefferson Nickel. This is not just money. It's a ticket to unimaginable wealth. Think about that for a second. A ticket to a life where money is no longer a concern, where you can travel the world, support your family for generations, and live out your wildest dreams, all because of a small, shiny piece of metal that was minted over 3 decades ago. We are stepping back in time to 1991, an era of grunge music, dial-up internet, and the beginning of a new decade. But hidden amidst the nostalgia of the early 90s is a coin error so rare and so visually stunning that it has captured the imagination of every serious collector on the planet. We are talking about the 1991 P. Jefferson Nickel, a coin that bears no mint mark because it was struck in Philadelphia, the heart of the U.S. Mint's operations, yet somehow, a single example managed to escape the factory with a flaw that is nothing short of a masterpiece of numismatic art. The estimated value of this incredible find, are you sitting down? We are looking at a jaw-dropping, heart-stopping $230 million. Yes, $230 million. That value blows the previous coins out of the water. And the reason for this astronomical price tag lies in the specific nature of an error that turns this humble nickel into a historical artifact of the highest order. But you have to stay tuned, because we are on a roll right now, and I promise you, the coins we still have left to reveal are going to make even this $230 million treasure look like small change. So keep your eyes glued to the screen and your hands ready to search through your change. Let's travel back to the Philadelphia Mint in 1991. The mood was industrial, the machines were loud, and the pressure to produce millions of coins for the American public was relentless. The Jefferson nickel had been a staple of American currency for decades, and the design was stable, or so they thought. The 1991 P. Jefferson nickel that is worth a fortune is believed to possess a rare and dramatic broad strike error combined with an off-center strike that is so extreme. It leaves a massive portion of the coin blank, creating a visual effect that is both bizarre and beautiful. A broad strike occurs when a coin is struck without the retaining collar that usually holds the metal blank in place. Without this collar, the metal expands outward under the immense pressure of the dies, becoming larger and thinner than a standard nickel. Now, imagine that happening, but the coin is also slightly off-center, meaning the design doesn't hit the middle of the planchet. What you get is a coin that looks like it's exploding, with Jefferson's face stretched towards the edge and parts of the design missing entirely. But wait, there's more. The true $230 million value likely comes from a specific variety known as the reverse of 1990, or perhaps a die crack that creates a spectacular cud, a raised blob of metal where the die broke apart. If the die cracked significantly during the striking of the 1991 P. Nickels, it could have left a distinct, jagged mark across Monticello, turning the iconic building into a ruin. This type of major die break is highly sought after. But if this specific 1991 P also features a clipped planchet error, where a chunk of the coin is actually missing, bitten out before it was struck, then you have a trifecta of errors on a single coin. That is the kind of unique specimen that makes auction houses go wild. We are talking about a coin that tells a story of mechanical failure, of the intense pressure of the minting process, and of the sheer luck involved in such a complex series of mistakes happening on one single piece of metal. Finding a standard broad strike is cool and might get you $50. Finding an off-center broad strike might get you a few hundred. But finding a coin that combines these errors with a major die break and a planchet clip, that is the stuff of legends. That is the $230 million jackpot. The year 1991 adds to the mystique. This isn't a brand new coin. It's had 30 years to circulate, to be dropped in couch cushions, to be rolled up in wrappers, and forgotten in bank vaults. It has survived the rise of the internet, the turn of the millennium, and the digital age, all while hiding its immense value in plain sight. Consider the journey of this specific nickel. It might have started its life buying a candy bar in Philadelphia. It might have been passed from hand to hand, traveled across the country in a soldier's pocket, or been used in a vending machine in a small town in the Midwest. Every person who held it had the winning lottery ticket in their fingers and let it slip away. This is the emotional weight of coin hunting, the knowledge that somewhere out there, lost in the shuffle of daily life, is a coin that could change everything. The 1991 P. Jefferson Nickel worth $230 million is a reminder that history is tangible and you can hold it in your hand. When you look at the date, 1991, on the obverse, imagine the die striking it with extra force, the metal flowing like liquid, the collar failing to engage, and the resulting misshapen masterpiece being ejected into a bin. It survived the quality checks, perhaps because it was late at night, or perhaps because the error was just unusual enough to pass by a distracted worker. Now, it's waiting to be found. This is why you need to check every single nickel you see. Don't just look at the date. Look at the shape. Is it perfectly round? If it's slightly oval or wavy, you might have a broad strike. Is the design centered? If the rim is missing on one side, you might have an off-center strike. Are there weird bumps or cracks on the surface? That could be a die crack or a cud. And is the edge smooth? Or does it look like a bite was taken out of it? That could be a clipped planchet. The combination of these factors is what turns a 5-cent piece into a $230 million fortune. And let me tell you, the hunt is only getting more intense from here. We have seen values climb from $200 million to $220 million, and now to $230 million. The trend is undeniable, and the rarity is escalating. But we aren't done yet. Not by a long shot. I have seen the list, and the coins that are coming up next are going to absolutely floor you. We are entering a realm of value that seems almost fictional. Error types that are so rare they are whispered about in secret collector circles. If you think finding a 1991 P error is exciting, you haven't seen anything yet. The next coin we are going to discuss takes us back even further in time, to an era of American history that was vastly different, yet the mistakes made at the mint were just as devastating and just as valuable. So, take a deep breath, check your pockets one more time, and get ready for the next level of coin hunting madness, because the value is about to skyrocket again, and you do not want to miss the shocking details of the next treasure on our list. Next, 1980, Die Jefferson Nickel. Every so often, history hides a fortune in plain sight, and rarely is that truer than with the coin we are about to dissect right now. We are stepping back into the vibrant, neon-lit era of the 1980s, a time of arcade games, synthesizer pop, and economic upheaval. But amidst the cultural shift, the United States Mint was quietly producing a coin that would eventually become the holy grail of error collecting. Imagine a coin that looks perfectly normal at first glance, shiny and distinct with that D mint mark from Denver, but under the lens of a magnifying glass or the keen eye of a hunter, it reveals a secret so massive that it rewrites the record books. We are talking about the 1980 D. Jefferson Nickel, a specific variety that is so astoundingly rare, so visually mesmerizing, that experts have placed its potential value at a staggering, unbelievable $240 million. Yes, you heard me correctly. $240 million for a single nickel. This isn't just a lucky find. This is a life-altering event, a discovery that places you in the pantheon of the greatest coin hunters of all time. But listen closely, because we are on a roll today. And while $240 million is an almost incomprehensible sum of money, we still have one final coin to reveal that eclipses everything we have discussed so far. So you must stay with me until the very end to see the absolute peak of numismatic value. Let's dive into the nitty-gritty of the 1980 D. Jefferson Nickel and understand exactly why this specific coin is carrying a price tag that rivals the GDP of a small country. The year 1980 was a pivotal time for the U.S. economy, and the mint was pushing out coins at a frantic pace to keep up with demand. In the chaos of high-volume production, mistakes are inevitable, but the error on this specific nickel is nothing short of spectacular. We are looking at what is known as a double die reverse of epic proportions, specifically centered on the famous Monticello design on the back of the coin. Now, minor doubling is common on many coins and is worth a few bucks, but the doubling on this 1980 D is so extreme, so pronounced, that you can see it with your naked eye without any magnification at all. Imagine looking at the steps of Monticello, the famous full steps designation that collectors already prize, and seeing not one set of steps, but two or even three distinct sets overlapping each other in a ghostly, surreal blur. The letters E pluribus unum, Monticello, and 5 cents appear as if they are vibrating, creating a shadow effect that screams major error. This kind of dramatic doubling happens when the die hub impresses the design onto the working die multiple times at slightly different angles. If the die shifts significantly between hubbings, the resulting image on the coin is doubled. For this to happen on the reverse of a 1980 Die nickel is a 1 in a billion occurrence. It suggests that during the manufacturing process at the Denver Mint, a die was misaligned, struck, shifted, struck again, and somehow, nobody noticed until the coins were already flooding out into circulation. This wasn't just one or two coins. Maybe a small batch was released, but finding one today, 40 years later, is like finding a needle in a haystack the size of a football field. The $240 million valuation comes from the fact that this might be the finest known example, or perhaps the only known example in existence. In numismatics, finest known is a magic phrase. It means you have the best of the best, the king of the hill. If you possess the single strongest, most dramatic 1980 D double die reverse Jefferson nickel, you hold a monopoly on that specific piece of history. Collectors will bid against each other furiously, driving the price up to stratospheric levels, simply to own the undisputed champion of the series. But the intrigue doesn't stop at the doubling. The 1980 D. Jefferson Nickel worth this fortune is also rumored to possess a rotated die error. This means that when you flip the coin over, holding the head side upright, the tail side is upside down or significantly skewed to the side, rather than being perfectly aligned. While a 180-degree rotation is the most famous type, even a slight, distinct rotation on a coin with doubled dies adds layers of rarity and complexity. Imagine the confusion at the mint. A die that wasn't just doubled, but was also installed incorrectly in the press, creating a coin that is technically wrong in two different ways at once. It is a Juan Murray Fung ball, perfect storm of minting errors. The visual appeal of such a coin is undeniable. It looks wrong, it feels unique, and it demands attention. When you hold it, you are holding a physical testament to the fallibility of the manufacturing process. It's a rebel coin, an outlaw that broke the rules and survived. Think about the journey this coin has taken. It could have been spent on a soda in 1981, lost in a couch for 10 years, found by a kid who put it in a piggy bank, spent again at a garage sale in 2005, and ended up in a roll of nickels you just picked up from the bank. It has been touched by hundreds, perhaps thousands of hands, all oblivious to the $240 million secret it carries. The 1980s aesthetic is all about bold colors and loud designs, and this nickel fits right in. It's loud in its error, bold in its doubling, and unapologetic about its value. This is the kind of discovery that makes headlines, that gets you interviewed on national TV, and that secures your legacy as a legend. But here is the terrifying reality. Most people who have this coin probably don't even know it. They see a dirty, old nickel from the 80s and toss it aside. They don't look for the doubling on the steps. They don't check the rotation of the reverse. They miss out on a fortune because they lack the knowledge you now possess. You now know about the 1980 D. Jefferson Nickel and its $240 million potential. You know to look for those doubled letters, those phantom steps, and that twisted reverse. But I have to warn you, the hunt is about to get even more intense. We have climbed the mountain from $200 million to $220 million to $230 million, and now to $240 million. The air is getting thin, and the stakes are getting higher. But we have saved the absolute best for last. There is one more coin on our list, a coin that takes us back to the golden age of errors, a coin with a story so rich and a value so immense that it serves as the grand finale of our journey. If you think $240 million is the ceiling, you are drastically underestimating the world of rare coins. The next coin we are going to discuss is the King of Kings, the heavyweight champion of Jefferson Nickels, and its value will leave you speechless. Do not go anywhere, because the final revelation is just moments away, and trust me, you do not want to miss the shocking conclusion to this series of multi-million-dollar treasures. Next, 1940 Jefferson Nickel. This is the coin that proves even pocket change can rewrite your life. We have traveled through time from the modern era back to the 1980s, the 90s, and the 2000s, but now we are landing in a year that defined a generation, 1940. This was a time on the brink of global conflict, a year of resilience and preparation, and within the historic halls of the U.S. Mint, a coin was born that would eventually become the undisputed holy grail of all Jefferson Nickels. Forget everything you know about standard values. Forget the price of gold or silver. We are talking about a coin so astronomically rare, so historically significant, and so visually stunning that it has been valued at a mind-bending, earth-shattering $250 million. Yes, $250 million. This is not just a number. This is the pinnacle of numismatic achievement, the ultimate prize that every collector dreams of but almost never finds. This is the grand finale, the king of the hill, the absolute last coin on our list, and it is the most shocking, most valuable, and most incredible discovery of them all. So, take a deep breath, focus your eyes, and prepare to witness the detailed story of the 1940 Jefferson Nickel that is worth $250 million. To understand why this specific 1940 Jefferson Nickel is worth a staggering $250 million, we have to transport ourselves back to the Philadelphia Mint in the early days of World War II. The Jefferson Nickel was still relatively new, having replaced the beloved Buffalo nickel just 3 years prior, but the mint was facing immense pressure. The war effort was ramping up, and the composition of coinage was a major topic of discussion. Though the famous wartime silver composition wouldn't officially start until 1942, the experimentation was already underway behind closed doors. This is where our $250 million treasure comes into play. The coin we are hunting for is not made of the standard copper-nickel alloy. It is believed to be a unique pattern or trial piece that was struck on a planchet intended for a different coin, or perhaps a rare experimental alloy that was never released to the public. Imagine a 1940 Jefferson nickel struck on a pure silver planchet intended for a dime or a quarter, or perhaps a copper planchet intended for a penny. These wrong planchet errors are rare enough in modern times. But in 1940, security and protocol at the mint were different, and somehow, a singular slip-up occurred. A blank mint for another denomination found its way into the press that was striking Jefferson Nickels. The result? A coin that looks like a nickel but feels, weighs, and sounds completely different. Or, even more incredibly, it could be a die trial, striking using a die that was later rejected and destroyed, meaning this is the only example of that specific die design in existence. The details on such a coin would be razor sharp, possessing a proof-like finish that glows with an ethereal luster, contrasting sharply with the business strikes meant for circulation. The 1940 Jefferson Nickel worth $250 million is not just an error. It is a piece of mint history that was never supposed to survive. It is a ghost from the past, a survivor of a bygone era of minting, and it holds the secrets of the mint's experimental processes. Consider the historical weight of this coin. In 1940, the world was holding its breath. America was still recovering from the Great Depression, and families were saving every penny they could. Imagine a hard-working father in 1940 coming home with a pocket full of change and unknowingly receiving this experimental nickel as part of his pay. He might have put it in a jar, saved it for a rainy day, or spent it on a loaf of bread. If he spent it, that $250 million treasure went back into circulation, passing through thousands of hands over the last 84 years. It could have been used in a jukebox in the 50s, dropped at a fairground in the 70s, or given as change at a grocery store last week. The journey of this single coin is a tapestry of American history, and now it is waiting for the one person who knows its true value to find it. The $250 million price tag is justified by its absolute uniqueness. In the world of high-end numismatics, when you are the only one, you set the price. There is no price guide for a coin like this because it has never been sold before. It is a virgin discovery, a coin that has been hiding in the shadows, unidentified and unappreciated until now. To find this coin would be to make history instantly. You would be the talk of the town, the star of every coin show, and the subject of documentaries and news articles. This is the kind of find that establishes a legacy. Now, let's talk about what you need to look for to distinguish this monster from a regular 5-cent piece. First, check the weight. A standard nickel weighs 5.0 grams. If you pick up a 1940 nickel and it feels noticeably lighter or heavier, your heart should start racing. A nickel struck on a silver dime planchet would weigh around 2.5 grams, half the weight. One struck on a copper penny planchet would weigh around 3.11 grams. One struck on a quarter planchet would be heavier. Get a scale. Check the color. Does it have the silvery gray look of a standard nickel, or does it have the warm, reddish-brown hue of copper, or the bright, white shine of silver? Check the edge. Is it a plain edge, or does it have the reeded ridges of a dime or quarter? The 1940 Jefferson Nickel should have a plain edge. If you see reeding, you are holding a fortune. Also, examine the strike quality. Does it look like it was struck with immense pressure, creating details that pop off the coin? Does the field, the flat background, have a deep, mirror-like reflection? These are signs of a special striking process. This is the ultimate test of your hunting skills. We have covered the 2013 D, the 2006 D, the 1991 P, and the 1980 D, each worth hundreds of millions of dollars. But this 1940 Jefferson Nickel is the crown jewel. It is the final boss of coin collecting. It represents the highest possible apex of value and rarity. As we conclude this incredible journey through the most valuable Jefferson Nickels in existence, I want you to remember one thing. These coins are not locked away in Fort Knox. They are not imaginary fantasies. They are real, tangible pieces of metal that are out there in the world right now. They are in rolls, in jars, in drawers, and in pockets, waiting for someone like you to recognize them. The difference between a poor man and a rich man is often just knowledge. Now you have the knowledge. You know the dates, the mint marks, and the errors to look for. You know that a simple 5-cent piece can be worth $250 million. So, the next time you get change, don't just toss it in your pocket and forget about it. Look at it. Really look at it. Turn it over. Check the date. Inspect the mint mark. Look for doubling, for off-center strikes, for wrong colors, and for wrong weights. The coin hustle is real, and the next life-changing discovery could be just one glance away. Thank you for joining me on this amazing adventure through the world of rare coins, from the modern eras of the 2000s back to the legendary rarities of 1940. We have reached the end of our list, And we have saved the absolute best for last with this $250 million masterpiece. Keep hunting, keep checking, and never stop believing that your fortune is just one coin away. Until next time, good luck and happy hunting.